So I'm here with my friend Marty Reiswig. We're in Sojourner's Coffee Shop, and Marty has joined our MRT today. He's part of an MRT in Aurora, and this is the MRT in Denver. So he's sitting in with us today. This is really a fun thing to kind of be able to encourage one another. And Marty was sharing this morning about the idea of hearing God's voice is something that you can learn to do. And I wonder if you could share a little bit of your journey about how you, sort of where you started from in this whole thing of hearing God's voice, and kind of how God shifted some of the thinking for you. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Over time in my own personal life, and even in the way I relate to ministry, I think the easiest way to put it would be, when you go to Google Maps, you see this whole big map of the United States. That I used to feel like it was okay for God to speak to me on large-scale issues, who to marry, what job to get next, things like that. But because I'm a little slow to gain faith, it's been a long journey for me with John and with the Lord about really learning that God can speak into all kinds of levels of your life, that you can literally have conversations with Him throughout the day, that you can ask Him a question, and sometimes He'll answer, sometimes He won't, but oftentimes He'll answer, and then He you say in Sunday school that you too can have a personal relationship with Jesus, but then you find out that you're really only supposed to have a personal relationship with the Bible, and I've come to discover, both in leading in ministry and in my own personal life, that you really can learn to hear God's voice more clearly than you could before. That discerning God's voice in your heart and your mind is a learnable skill. It does take time, it takes practice, and it takes an increasing measure of faith and willingness to sound like a crazy person.
So when we first started talking about this stuff, and I'm talking about hearing God's voice, what were you thinking inside your head, but being so nice you didn't say?
Well, you may have heard it said that if God hears you, you're a religious man, but if you hear God, you're a crazy man.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my stance at the time, and just hearing you say, well, I think the Lord is telling me such and such, like right there, right in the middle of us talking. You didn't hear it when you were having devotions or anything like that, and that was just very unusual to me. Enticing, but unusual and a little bit crazy.
Now, this morning in our MRT, Desi, who's sitting over here, made the comment that you've seen a pretty big difference in Marty. Comment on that. What have you seen that's different in terms of Marty?
Marty, when I first met him, had a huge heart, wants to see the mission of God being lived out by everyone and all these things, and he still does. He didn't lose that. That's good. But it was almost, it was like a lot of us who, when we've been seeking, Lord, we're impressed about this, and we want to live this out. It's like, okay, let's go and let's plan this thing out. Let's take these steps. Let's get some strategic planning, and then we go. And it was kind of like he was saying. It seemed like he believes God would give kind of this big picture, but then he's got to go and do the stuff and figure it out on his own.
Yeah.
And now it's been exciting to see him go from that to now bringing everything to the Lord and saying, what's the Lord saying about how I do this? What's the Lord saying about and to see that mission is flowing out of that, listening to Jesus. He hasn't become less missional from this.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost that missional heart. He's instead been seeing that the missionary God is going to lead him as he journeys.
Approaching mission in a different way, a different process of getting there.
Yeah.
So